Zizi Cardow's distinguishing signature in the fashion world has not only earned her multiple awards, but it has also launched her brand globally. After her break into the Nigerian fashion scene, which earned her her first award at the maiden edition of the Nigerian Fashion Show, the brand name has remained top on the list of fashion designers in Africa.
I think it'll be my very first award, which is Designer of the Year, Nigerian Fashion Designer of the Year, because it was just a year after the conception of Zizi Cardow, the label, and it was at a time when even me, I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I think that one for me has always been my baby, you know, and that because that was my wake-up call to the fact that I was actually doing something right.
With a profile as dazzling as hers, you might want to hear a few tales from her humble beginning.
When we first started, the money we opened with, it was money that I got from off another business. I mean, I had been running after that money. When they paid me, it was, I can tell you honestly, it was 150,000 naira paid to me by Halliburton for 155,000 paid to me by Halliburton for delivery of electricals that I did for them, and I just used yeah, so that's what I used to rent the shop at first, and started up from there. And when we started, we had we didn't have a workshop, we didn't have anything, we just had this cute little showroom, and I had one tailor, one machine, and we would then we would have the machine put outside at the back of the shop, and made this little canopy thing, and that was where we used to work out of from. And I used to, my office table was my cutting table then, so I cut on my office table, and then I take it to the guy at the back. And you can imagine when it's raining, you know, it's this tarpaulin and the wind and everything, so you just pack up and just wait for the rain to stop, and then you start all over again, you know. And eventually, I think after the first 1 year, I was able to get a big workshop. I would say the biggest one for me being the fact that you're trying to sell what we have, which is our own fabric, to the world globally, and you're not getting support, not from the textile company, not from anybody, you know, and you're just doing it by yourself. And I think the majorly again would be infrastructure, like we all know, you know, almighty NEPA, and having to have real skilled staff. And I had this client then, she was coming in from abroad, and she thought it was something wonderful, it was different, you know, because then we had this lovely little shop on Ozumbambadi Way, and it was most difficult because I didn't want to be known as a tailor. I wanted to be known as a designer, as a brand. And so we're not accepting fabrics or anything, we're just selling off the rack. And for people then it was something quite strange, and why would you be selling Ankara off the rack? You know, to start with, why would you even be making Ankara into anything else other than Iran Buba? And so having that woman come in and really, the whole thing blew her mind, and she bought that first one. And subsequently, every time she's traveling, she comes and buys stuff for people, you know, to take back and everything. And I think that's, those days for me, that first 1 year was it was a time I had to really think about what I was doing, and I had to reflect on the whole thing, you know, is it worth spending money on, you know, and pushing and everything. At a point, even my partner was like, I should just shut down because it's not going anywhere. But that period, I resolved within myself, you know, I believed in what I was doing, and I thought it was going to make a difference, and I'm happy today it did.
And of course, where are models placed in promoting her creative pieces?
They're very, very important. Very important. It's a shame sometimes when you see, you know, how the models here are being treated and everything. Personally, I think the rule that models should not be as skinny, should really be standing. I prefer my models full-bodied because clothes sit better on them and everything. I think they play a very important role in the fashion industry as well, especially here in Nigeria. And you would understand that the earlier models, they had such a hard time, you know, being how would you say, labeled and everything. And the ones now, I would say they're quite lucky, but at the same time, I think that there should be a law as to how much skinny they have to get. It's crazy, you know, it's crazy. A lot of them sometimes don't eat as much as they should and things like that, and they starve themselves and everything, and I think it's crazy, really.
She goes on to respond on the notion a lot of people have that models are sometimes prostitutes in disguise.
I've known quite a number of them for what, 10, 12 years now, and the ones I started off with, many of them, they're all married now with kids. A lot of them are outside, they're studying, they're doing wonderfully well, they're doing different things. I've been in touch with a lot of them. Even the present ones, I mean, it's not, there's quite a few of them that have made us very proud. I mean, look at Oluchi to start with. There's Bisi Rahama, there's Bumi, there's quite a number of them that in their own way, they've made Nigeria proud. They've been able to stand their own ground in the international scene and runway and everything. So I think that it's just us being myopic and not being, if you even ask me, I'll say hypocritical, because we tend to have that attitude to every other thing that we don't understand here. So when you don't understand something, it must be this. But it's not. The fashion scene, it's a fast-paced one, and the girls need to be, you know, very global. It's not, you cannot say because you're a model, you now have to be a model tailored to only the Nigerian market and style and everything. You need to be a model also for, because you're a mannequin at the end of the day. As a model, you're not, when you're on the runway, your body doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the designer and the hairstylist and the whatever they want to do with you is what they do with you. You know, their interpretation of what they want to project is what you have to relay to the crowd. So I think that notion of people thinking models are whatever other than models, it's silly, really.
Outside Nigeria, we have summer collections, winter collections. Where do we tag the Nigerian collection considering our climate?
I doubt we will be able to do the winter, but we have the summer collection and what I would term the haute couture collection, which are more tailored for like towards the Christmas period, where you have a lot of events, weddings and things coming up. And then the summer collection where, I mean, summer is not summer and people travel, people wear them here, they wear them abroad and things like that. So I would say we probably might not have that autumn, winter, summer collection, but I think we have something close to it.
As a designer, she sees herself as an artist and her models as her canvas.
And as an artist, I like to project and I like to interpret what I feel and what I want people to see. It might not necessarily be my interpretation, or Mr. A's interpretation might not be Mr. B's interpretation. But as an artist, I put it out there. It's for you to think about it. Now, whether they're nude or not, I keep going back to the same thing. It's very hypocritical, you know, because as Africans, really, I always like to make this debate, because as Africans, clothing is not our culture. The suit and tie is not our culture. The evening gown is not our culture. The long dresses is not our culture. If we really have to talk about nudity, and African in Nigeria. I mean, it's clothing, fashion for me is about style, is about personal style and everything. What I do on the runway, oftentimes it's not the same as what we have in the shop. It's not. The runway for me is a canvas where I paint, or where I just let out my imaginations and let it flow. But the society here tends to have a closed mind to that, and they want to just believe, you know what, what's on the runway is that's just what it is. What Zizi wears that's just what it is. But it's not. What Zizi wears has nothing to do with what Zizi makes.
Zizi also says the awards keep pouring in, and sometimes she has to turn them down. She is currently responsible for clothing Nigeria's representative to the Miss World pageant, Damiete Charles Granville.